I'd like to now cross to Herzliya in central Israel, where I'm joined by Itay Raviv. Itay lost one of his relatives, while 4 others have been kidnapped from kibbutz Nir Oz by Hamas and taken into the Gaza Strip. Firstly, thank you so very much for joining us here on our breaking news editions of I-24 News. How are you and your family doing? I can't begin to imagine how hard this must be for all of you.
Yeah, it's really hard. What we're doing our best to speak in the name of our relatives who have been abducted and do everything in our power to help release them as soon as possible. Like everyone before me said, that's what we've been doing. We've been talking to the press. We've been trying to meet with whoever is possible. My mom, for example, is meeting today with the president of Cyprus, and others meeting with ambassadors. And yeah, and I think the world needs to do everything in order to release them. I heard Mr. Blinken talking about humanitarian aid to the people, the civilians of Gaza. And I'm thinking, how can we do that before we're helping the civilians in Israel who are inside Gaza? You know, they talk about the Red Cross and how they need medical support and everything. But these laws refer usually to soldiers in captivity. Nobody even talks about civilians. Civilians in captivity, it's not even in the rules of war. It's something beyond that. I think all civilians there should be released immediately, regardless of their nationality or other nationality. So I have my cousin, Roy. He was murdered in kibbutz Nir Oz on Saturday morning. He was found shot to death on the grounds of the kibbutz. The rest of my family, my uncle and aunt, Avraham and Ruti Munder, both 78 years old. They're all people. This is Roy, who was murdered. So my uncle and aunt, they're both 78 years old. Avraham is an old person. He needs his medicine. He can barely walk. He walks with a cane. His vision is not great. We don't know how he's surviving over a week now, almost 10 days, I think. Together with their daughter. Roy is their son. He was murdered. Karen, their daughter, was there with them, with her son, who is almost 9 years old. All 4 of them have been abducted by Hamas. We have not seen any video, nothing. We just know that their shelter at home at the kibbutz was clean and empty, and there was no sign of struggle or blood. And we know that their golf cart was gone. So the assumption is that they were taken by that into Gaza. And I have to say about Ohadi, he has his 9th birthday in a few days. And we really want him to celebrate his birthday at home. We're trying to do everything in our power to do that. We're now also trying to gather football players and tennis players that he supports. He loves to send him messages, maybe videos, maybe help get their support to release him. It's just, every time I talk about it, every time I'm sure that you see it on the news, it's just unimaginable to see kids, babies inside of Hamas's hands. We saw what those terrorists are capable of. We saw what they did in all of the villages, all of the kibbutzim, all across the border. This should not be in Hamas's hands. If we're talking about helping civilians, if the world wants to help civilians, they need to release civilians from Hamas's hands. That's what the world needs to do. And whoever hears this, do everything in your power. Speak to everyone, speak to the press, speak to your political leaders, and do everything you can to release them, to bring them back home.
Itay, have you spoken to anyone in the government? What is being done to bring your family home safe? We know that the media has been covering this extensively, but has anyone official reached out to you?
So some people slowly, but it happened eventually, but with any extra information. They just talked to us. There's been a meeting with Netanyahu this week. With a few representatives from the headquarters of the families of those who've been abducted. But nothing extra has been done. We're not aware of any, they haven't told us anything that's being done in order to release them. I'm sure it's for, I hope it's for good reasons, in order to keep everything as a secret and try to be as smart as possible about it. And I hope we can trust them as much as possible. And again, nothing has been done too much in communication with us, except for telling us, yes, they have been abducted. And that's pretty much it.
Itay, I wish more than anything that I could tell you that they're watching you right now and that there's a message that you can send to them. But unfortunately, I don't have that power, and I don't know if they are seeing this. But if there was a message that you could send to your family right now, what would it be?
I keep saying it, is that we love them, I love you, and we're doing everything in order to get you back home. Everything. And stay safe, stay strong. I hope you're well.
Itay Raviv, who lost one of his relatives while 4 others had been kidnapped from kibbutz Nir Oz by Hamas and taken into the Gaza Strip over the last couple of days. Thank you so much for joining us, for sharing your story. May your relatives return home safely, and we're sending you a huge hug. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Batia.